So let's talk about intercepts. I'm going to draw a couple of dots on my graph. Okay. And I want you guys to tell me the coordinates of those points. Okay. I'm going to start on the red graph just because I feel like it's over there. I'm going to name that A. Then on the side here, I'm going to write A, and I need you guys to give me the coordinates. Then I'm going to go to the blue one right over there, B, coordinate of B, the green one. Eesh, I said green and then I used blue. Old age, guys. Old age. Okay, let me just erase it. Okay, in the meantime, find the coordinates, guys. All right, there's C. Okay, green has two of them. There's D. Okay, what else? What did I miss? The black one. E. Okay, the black one also has two of them. Right at the bottom there. F. Okay, may I please zoom in? Yes, I can. Now let me zoom in so you guys can see properly. Is that better? Maybe that's even better. Okay, let's see. Of course, I'm going to scroll down. There we go. There we go. I hope we can see better. Okay, now let's get our coordinates. You're welcome. Let's get our coordinates. I saw someone answered and said something there at the bottom there. Where's my coordinate? A is -1, 0, I think. Okay. Let's start with A, guys. What are our coordinates for A? Coordinates for A is over here. Lousy dot, but it's over there. What are my coordinates for A? Coordinates, meaning I'm expecting, remember coordinates, I'm expecting a X value, semicolon, and a Y value. That's what I'm expecting. Okay, so Mtanda says 0 and -1. Okay, Tepang says 0 and 0 for B. That will be correct. So I'm going to write it down. So B is 0, 0. Okay, A will all seems like we'll all agree now, saying it's 0 and -1. Beautiful. Let's go to C. C is over there. See my coordinates for C. What are my coordinates for C? On the green graph, in case you're looking for it. Anyone? Is everyone still alive? There we go. Tando, thank you, Tando. Tando says C is 4 and 0. Okay, thank you. I see B there again. What's D? I should probably write them here. I'm not understanding why I'm squishing everything to the side. Thank you. Nwabile agrees with C, excuse me. And Kamogelo saying it's 4 and 0. What's D? Thank you, Lufono. And Asamkele. Let's go to D. D is all the way here. It's at the bottom. It's okay. Welcome, welcome. -2, 0, 0, -2. Okay, which one is it, guys? It's over here. Gorapet says -2 and 0. Okay, are you sure? Are we sure? Let's check D again. Zach and Kutlwano seem to agree, and Kateko. There we go, guys. Remember, if it's on the y-axis, then the x is 0. So it's 0 and -2. Okay, let's move on to E. Let's move on to E. Thank you, Tepang. They're the other way around though. Tepang, check your answer. Remember, if it's on the x-axis, then it is, x can't be 0. right? X has to be -5. There we go. -5 and 0. And if is at the bottom there, I hope we can see it. Yay, and F is the other way around. I didn't even realize I did that. F is 0 and -5. Now, what do we see about these coordinates, guys? All these coordinates have something in common. What do these coordinates have in common? If it's X, the big number has to be first. Yes, if it's on X, then X can't be 0. That's a good observation, Mobile. So if it's on the x-axis, so if your coordinate is here, then your x coordinate cannot be 0. It has to be whatever it's on, right? Because you're telling me where the point is. So on x, the point is at -5. Yes, yeah, they all have a 0. Okay, and therefore we call them intercepts because they intercept the axes. Remember, we call these the axis. This is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. Okay, so if they cross the y or x-axis, we call them intercepts. Okay, now let's look at all the x-intercepts. Let's look at all the numbers that are crossing the x-axis. Okay, let me highlight those. Which ones are those? Point E, so it'll be this point, excuse me, point B, and point C. So now we're looking at B, C, E. What does B, C, and E specifically have in common? B, C, and E, what do they specifically have in common? They all have zeros, but B, C, and E have an additional condition to that. What is that? The x coordinate is the y, excuse me, the y. Sepang got me there for 2 minutes. The y coordinate is 0. Check here, guys. Look at B. Y coordinate is 0. C. Y coordinate is 0. E. Y coordinate is 0. So if you see coordinates that have a 0 in the y coordinates, that means it crosses the x-axis. And since we have seen that with the x coordinates, let's look at the y coordinates. The y coordinates, the y-intercepts, excuse me. Y-intercepts are A, D, F, and technically B as well. Right? What do they have in common? All the x coordinates are 0. Do we understand what I've said so far? Let me check in. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we understanding what I've said? You can use your reactions or in the chat. So if it crosses on the x, then the y coordinate is 0. If it crosses on the y, then the x coordinate is 0. It's just the opposites, right? It's easy to remember. Okay, I see thumbs up. Nobody's lost so far. Right? So now let's go to the definitions. Butle, please raise your hand so we can talk about it. I think we understand things better when we talk. If you're not, there we go. Butle's like, boom. Yes, Butle. Hi, Butle. Butle. In the meantime, you guys can write down those definitions or take screenshots while I speak to Butle.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm a little bit confused. I've never learned this before, but I don't understand when it comes to the negative signs and the coordinates. What's going on?
Oh, you don't understand coordinates. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, Butle. So coordinates are telling you where to look. Okay. You've heard you heard me about the x and the y axes, right?
Yes.
So we have a y-axis and an x-axis. And every time I tell them that when you write coordinates, you're first going to tell me, where can I find this point on the x-axis? And then you're going to tell me, where am I going to find it on the y-axis? Okay, so let's practice. I'm going to put a random point there and I'm going to call it G. Can you see G?
Yes.
So let's count the x-axis. Where is G on the x-axis? The x-axis is this one that goes across, right?
Okay.
So you look, if you're looking along the x-axis, where does G go? What's the number?
-4.
There we go. So it's at -4 for x. Beautiful. We're done with x's. Now we look at the y-axis, which is the horizontal, vertical one. Okay. So now we've checked the x. Now we check on the y-axis. Let's check on the y-axis. Where does it go in the y-axis? Buhle, are you still there?
I'm having problems with the screen.
Okay. Can you see my graph? Or my point rather? So on the y-axis, it goes at -2. So this is basically direction, guys. If you were walking to G, right? What would you say to a person? You're gonna walk 4 steps to the left. Okay, to the left means negative. So that's what you do. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're gonna walk 2 steps down, 1, 2. And that is coordination. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you feel better about it now, Buhle?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so hopefully we have all written down our definitions, okay? So the x-intercept means where does it cross the x-axis, okay? That's what the x-intercept means. So it is the point on the graph where your line cuts the x-axis. Okay, so it can be calculated by substituting y equals 0. Don't mind the and part. We're going to do it later on in the lesson. What I need you to understand is the x-intercept is the point where the graph cuts the x-axis. Okay, and then that means your y-intercept will be the point where your graph cuts the y-axis. Okay, and then x has to be 0. That's what we said. Let's look at our coordinates here. Let's look at our intercepts, right? F is a y-intercept. So then your x is 0. That's what they're saying. Y-intercept, x is 0, right? Let's look at this one, E. E is an x-intercept. So then your y is 0. X-intercept, y is 0. And I'm pretty sure we are all feeling good about this. So let us find the intercepts of the following graphs. That's good, Sia. We are making progress, Sia. Okay, now I'm going to start off by asking us for the x-intercept. X-intercept, that's how I'm going to write it. What is my x-intercept? Lutando can understand. What is my x-intercept, guys? I'm hoping this graph is big enough. I think it is. What is my x-intercept? Let's remind each other the x-intercept is where the graph cuts the x-axis. Wow, 75%. Sorry, I'm having moments here. I'm having like moments. You must believe it, Kamukhelo. You are relentless. You do the quiz 10 times. Of course you must get 75. Come on now. Guys, okay, guys, come on. What is the x-intercept? Look at your graph. Where does the graph cut the x-axis? Give me that coordinate. Remember when we ask for intercept, we're looking for coordinates. Okay, so you can't just say x is this. You must give me full coordinates. So what is my x-intercept? Where does the graph cut the x-axis? Oral Dean didn't give me a coordinate. Oral Dean's giving me a number. Okay, we're getting closer and closer, but we are still not writing it properly. Guys, there's a grid. Look carefully. At -6, is the graph on the axis? No, it's at the -6. Look carefully. Look here. So it's not at -6, right? It's not at -6. You need to look where the graph cuts the axis. That would be there, guys. On the axis. Do we see that? Do we see that? On the x-axis, which is over there. So what is my coordinate over there? Lesedi has broken through. It would be -5 and 0. Remember, guys, when it is on the axis, it is 0. -5 and 1 would be there, isn't it? Be careful. So -5 with 1 would be there because that's where your y is 1. On the axis, your y has to be 0. Do we understand, guys? Do we understand how we got -5 and 0? Let's check if we understand. What is my y-intercept? So we've established where it cuts the x-axis. Now we want the y-intercept, which is over there. And this says, no, ma'am, may you please explain? So we're looking for where the graph cuts the axis, right? We have established that it cuts, moment of silence. It cuts there, right? But I want a coordinate, okay? I don't want just a x equals -5. I want a coordinate, all right? So now I'm telling you that the coordinate for y, the x is -5, isn't it? We are at -5 on the x-axis. So let me write again to remind you, coordinates are x, y. So for x, it's -5 because it is on the -5, but for y, it has to be 0 because it is on the x-axis. Do you see that? It can't be 1 because if it was 1, then it would be there. If it was -1, it would be over there. But if it's on the x-axis, then your y coordinate is always 0. You should write that down. If a point is on the x-axis, then your y coordinate, meaning the value for y over here, has to be 0. And Lesedi says my y-intercept is 0, 1, which would be correct. Beautiful, guys. We're getting somewhere. You just swap them around. Remember, the y is 1 because it is on the y-axis. Okay. Do we have any questions? Let me check in for questions. I'm not sure if Buhle's hand has been up. I'm going to lower it first. If you have a question, Buhle, please raise your hand now so I can ask. Do we have any questions? So x-intercept, y is 0. Y-intercept, x is 0. Okay. Yes, be careful, Tepang. Remember, if it is on the y, then the y has to have a value. If it is on the x has to have a value. Okay. Okay, we understand. Now let's keep practicing, guys. Let's keep practicing. This is a different type of graph, but the same rules apply. The same rules apply. How do you know if it is on the x or the y-axis? Because the x or y-axis don't change. The one that goes up and down is the y. The one that goes left to right is the x every single time. Okay, so if it touches the one that goes up and down, okay.
Hi, sorry. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rhyme that I still use, that my teachers gave me to remember the x and y axis. So when you do the y axis, the rhyme is y to the sky, because it like goes up. So that's always the y axis. And then the other one is like the ground, which is x, because obviously there's only x there. So if that will help you guys remember which is y and which is x, then...
So it's y to the sky. I love it. I'm stealing it. Thank you very much, Simone. Thank you very much for giving me theft. Okay, now let's try it with this one. Let's try it with this one. This one has 2 x-intercepts, guys, which is possible. That's why I included this graph. I want to show you that it is possible to have 2 intercepts. Why do I say it has 2 intercepts? 2 x-intercepts specifically. Why do I say this graph has 2 x-intercepts? And we are practicing. Beautiful. It is non-linear and it has a minimum. I love it. Why do I say this graph has two x-intercepts, guys? What are x-intercepts? Let's start there. If we remember what x-intercepts are, we'll know why I'm saying there's two in this specific graph. Oh, Sia has told us one of them. I say there are two x-intercepts because the graph cuts the x-axis twice. So Sia has given us this one, right? The one on the negative side. And Tepang has given us the other one. So the two intercepts, the two x-intercepts are -2 with 0 and 2 with 0. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful. I realize I didn't answer Bongo Guhle. Bongo Guhle, let's change the settings so you can change your own name. How's that? Yeah, you can rename yourself. There we go. You can rename yourself. Go ahead. Okay. So do we understand the x-intercepts? Are you supposed to write them in order? What do you mean, Lesedi? Like if you write the 2 first, like 2, 0, and then -2, that doesn't matter. But your x-coordinate has to have a number. Okay, your x-coordinate has to be a -2 or a 2. You can't make it a 0 because that wouldn't make sense. Okay, that will be incorrect because your x cannot be 0. Your x has a value. You see that we are on 2 here. We are not on 0. We are at 2. So what is my y-coordinate? Now that it seems like we're getting it and I love it. Y-intercept. What's my y-intercept? Anyone? We have our two x-intercepts done and dusted. What is my y-intercept? There we go, Zianda. What is my y-intercept? Let's check out zeros that they are in the correct place. There we go, we are getting it. If it's a y-intercept, then your x is 0. So it's 0 and -4. I feel like we're getting better at this. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. We're back to linear graphs. Yes, guys. Oh, we're getting it. I love it. We're getting it. Okay. What is my x-intercept for this one? See, I was ready. See, Mtanda was sitting there waiting for me to ask, what is my y? Enter before I even finished. No, it's not always second Zianda. Sometimes they don't even ask the x-intercept. I'm just doing them both so we get used to doing them both. Yes, Lindile?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello. I'm fine. Ma'am, I was just saying, is it -1,0?
For your x-intercept, that would be correct. Beautiful. -1, semicolon 0. Thank you, Slindile. I love it when we speak to me. Okay. Do we have my y-intercept for this graph? Guys, I'm letting you get away with a lot in the chat, but you remember you must write my stuff correctly with the brackets and the semicolon. Thank you, Siamtanda and Tapang. Okay, y-intercept is 0, -3. I feel like we're getting it. I feel like we're getting it. We're getting better and better and better and better. Ooh, interesting graph. It's beautiful. What's my x-intercept for this beautiful graph? X-intercept. Where are my brackets? You guys are giving me heartburn. Apparently I say that a lot in my own class where I work. And now I just caught myself saying it here. So now I'm like, do I say it a lot? Because I definitely told them they were lying. But after saying it now, I'm like, oh, I do say it a lot. So you guys are giving me heartburn. There we go. 1 and 0. And my y-intercept, yes, you did. More people are giving me the brackets. At least now I haven't seen commas, so we're getting somewhere. We're using the semicolon properly, like we should. What's my y-intercept? Beautiful. 0 and -1. Beautiful, guys. How is it not -1? Look where it is. On the x-axis, it is at 1. You see that? On the y-axis, it is at -1. But on the x-axis, it is at 1. Look carefully. Okay. The brackets, gang. Okay, let's check in before we go to our brain break. Thumbs up, thumbs down. If you have a question, now is the time to ask. Now is the time to ask. Kamachelo uses an O. I was like, why is that so round? That doesn't look like a 0. Whoa. Okay, I see thumbs up. Come on, guys, don't be shy. If you don't understand, if there's something you don't quite get, now is the time to ask. Okay, I see a bunch of thumbs up, and in the reactions, I see you guys. I see you guys. Okay, all I see is thumbs up. Simone is having a time of her life. I'm not okay, guys. This is what happens when I eat noodles. Okay, let's go to our brain break. Looks like we're all doing well. Okay, so we've established this already, right? Every point that is on the x-axis has a y-coordinate of 0, and every point that is on the y-axis has an x-coordinate of 0. I've said this over and over. I think we know. Okay, first one. Would you rather find a rat in your kitchen or a cockroach in your bed? Rats. Guys. Okay, I get it. If I found something in my bed, I wouldn't sleep. Like that would be the end of it. I would stay up the whole night doing this. Is there another one?
Personal. It's too personal if it's in your bed. There's no way.
In your bed. Guys, if there's a cockroach in your bed, stop eating chips and hiding it from people. Means you are eating in your bed. We see you. Rat gang. Ziana's like, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'd rather have a cockroach. Ziana's like, nah, give me a 0 with the red stuff. Sorry, not sorry. Roaches ask, I think my only problem is it being in my bed. I think that's what's irking me. I'm just like, in the bed, guys. Yee. Imagine you're sleeping and it's like, oh, I die. Instant death, gone, poof, dead. Okay, let's see. Would you rather become an adult overnight or stay a teenager forever? Forever, guys. Guys, let's not talk about cockroaches that can fly. You guys are stressing me. If a cockroach starts flying, my heart's gonna stop. You guys want to stay teenagers forever? Forever? Mkata was like, nah, I want to be an adult. No, you don't. Mkata could take it from me. No, you don't. No, you don't. Yep. Guys, people are busy saying adults. Giving you a nice clue. Okay, it seems like everyone would stay a teen. Simone, would you want to be a teen again?
I would. For sure, I would want to be a teen.
Same Z's.
Yeah.
Same Z's.
I don't know who would choose to become an adult. Like, it's so much
do.
harder. Why would we choose that when we can have a life of no responsibility?
Let's see. Would you rather be a detective or a pilot? Guys, think about investigating murders. Just think about your lives. People, and then they say detective. You guys, like what? Detective. Hey, you guys like tabas. That's all I'm getting from this. You guys like people's tabas. You wanna go ask questions about people's lives. Exactly. They'll be like, this one is getting too close. You're scratching people's business that doesn't suit you. Eliminate. Pilots, you can jump off. If the pilot jumps off the plane, who's flying it? You see the world for all of 2 seconds. You land and then it's quick, eat your pie quickly. We are going again, going back. It's shy. What's the autopilot? Guys, you guys are gonna kill us. I don't trust these pilots. Nope. I do not trust these pilots. Oh, I like this one. Would you rather have skin color that changes according to your mood, or have a tattoo appear every time you lie? Imagine you're angry and you go red. Guys, when you're jealous, you are yellow. This is stressing me. That time, you wore a red coat. Now you are like Teletubbies basically walking around because your skin is yellow and you have blue shoes on. Look at all these liars not wanting a tattoo. So we're gonna catch you out. People like lying and like, nah, I don't want the tattoo. Some of you would be tattooed from head to toe. Lying unprovoked. How was school fine? That time, you were in trouble. You guys, I see you guys. It makes me get busted easily. Sis, no, I don't. Imagine turning pink. Oh, guys, I was wearing a green. Look at this green jersey. Imagine I turn pink. Because I'm stressed because of you guys and I go pink. Yo, the audacity of my skin to change color. But it's fine. We're done with our brain break. I hope your brains have had a break because we're about to go in. Let's do it. Let us do it. That was fun, right? These are interesting. Every time I see these questions, I'm like, but your answers are even worse. I'm like, huh? You guys are shocking. Okay. Now, let's remind ourselves and each other. For the x coordinate, your y is 0. That's what we said, right? And for your y coordinate, your x is 0. Now, let's say you don't have a graph. It's easy to see it when you have a graph, right? You just look where the graph cuts the axis, isn't it? You just look, be like, okay, it's over there. Yeah, boom. And you write down the coordinates. Now, let's say I give you an equation like so. Here's the equation we're working with right now. Y is equal to 2x minus 4. I give you this equation and I ask you, what is the x-intercept and the y-intercept? So you're going to use that rule of letting the other one be 0. Do we remember substitution, guys? When we did graphs, we did substitution. When we did algebra, we did substitution. We have done it over and over. So since you know, let's start with y-intercept. We're starting with y-intercept. Let me highlight it. I feel like the colors are more for me than anyone. Like you guys are probably like, enough with the rainbow. We can see, but it's for me, guys. Yes, Siam Tanda. There we go.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, can I answer the question, please?
Okay, let's hear.
Ma'am, I think the answer is going to be 2 times 0 is going to be 0 minus 4. The answer is -4.
Sia is 10 steps ahead. Boom. 50 steps ahead. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. So if we're letting x be 0, that means we are putting a 0 where you see x. So wherever you see x, you put 0. Okay. So then it will say y is equal to 2 times 0 minus 4. And 2 times 0 is just 0, 4. Therefore, your y will be equal to -4. But I asked for a coordinate. So what will my coordinates be? Your y is -4. You just worked it out, right, guys? And I told you that the x is 0. So just don't forget to put it back into coordinate form. Wonderful. I will re-explain, Buhle. I love how Sia was just like, boom, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, let me explain again. So when you have a graph, you can see the coordinates, you can see the intercepts, right? But we said to find the y-intercept, your x has to be a 0. So now I've given you an equation. I said to you, your equation here is y is equal to 2x minus 4, right? So if you're finding the y-intercept, wherever you see an x, you must put a 0. Okay, so then it will be 2 times 0 because 2x means 2 times x. So it will be 2 times 0 minus 4. Okay, then 2 times 0 is just a 0 minus 4. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Now you've solved for the y coordinate. But now look at this, guys. This is literally telling you. I need to expand my horizons with the colors. Let's see. Oh, is this those? Okay, let's use green. Let's use green. Literally, it says x equals 0. So your x coordinate is 0, right? And then it also says, what does it tell you? You just worked out the y. Y equals negative 4. So there where you have a y, you put your negative 4, and that is your intercept, guys. Are we feeling better about this? Let me check in. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do we understand why we are substituting 0 and where we are substituting 0? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, I see Lufuna says thumbs up. I see a couple of thumbs up. So we're going to do the same thing with your x-intercept. Thank you for the question, Oral Dean. This time your y is 0. So wherever you see a y, you put 0. So instead of saying y equals 2x minus 4, you're going to say 0 equals 2x minus 4. Let me scroll down. Give us some space. Move this down. Give us some space. There we go. Okay. But now you have to do a little bit of working out. Who remembers this algebra, guys? We have 2x minus 4. We want x to be on its own. Who remembers how to do this? Let's see if we remember our algebra from term 2 and term 1. We want that x to be alone because we want the x coordinate. Okay, we're going to divide by 2, yes, Kanyo. But first, we separate them. Right? So you take the negative 4 over. What happens to the negative 4 when it goes over the equal sign? It becomes what? Do we remember? Thank you, Kanyo. So then on the left, you'll have 0 plus 4 is equal to 2x. 0 plus 4 is just 4 is equal to 2x. And then what? We want to get rid of that 2. How do we get rid of that 2 by 2x? Thank you, Buhle Benkosi. Divide by 2 on both sides. Therefore, your x equals 2. Now, coordinates. Let's not forget that. Let's highlight. We said y equals 0. So your y coordinate has to be 0. And then we said x equals 2. So then your x coordinate has to be a 2. How are we feeling about this? Oh my gosh, I'm so dark where I'm sitting. We need some light in here. There we go, Gamkhelo. Yes, Lufuno. Do we understand, guys? Are we good? This is your time to ask questions. Feeling great, wonderful. If you have a question, please, 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 please don't hesitate. Butle is feeling amazing. Does it have to be in a specific order? Andiswa, I know you asked this question above as well, so I feel like I haven't answered it. Do you want to raise your hand so I can answer properly? Siam Tanda says we are good. With a different sound in the middle. So we are good or good. And this one, do you want to raise your hand? Okay, most of us understand, which is amazing. Hello, Andy Swa.
Hi, ma'am.
So when you say order, what do you mean?
Ma'am, I mean, do you have to put the 2 in front and the 0 at the back, or can you, if you swap it around, is it still going to be the same thing?
No. Remember, Andy Swa, how do we write coordinates? Your X always comes first and then your Y, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes. So then your X has to be in the correct place and then the Y has to be in the correct place.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Everyone else, we good? I think we good. Okay, let's practice a bit. Let's find some coordinates using equations. Okay, let me number these. A, B, C, D. Okay, we have time. Okay, let's go. Let's go. A. So I'm going to do A just to remind you. So for A, remember for the x-intercept, your Y is 0. Okay, I'm doing A. My pen is looking iffy and I don't like it. Let me fix it. Maybe make it slimmer. Let's see if that makes a difference, because what I'm writing now, it looks terrible. Okay, let's see. There we go, a little bit better. So I'm doing A, okay? For the x-intercept, I'm gonna write here for myself, Y is 0. You don't have to write that. I'm writing it to remind you guys, okay? So then it's gonna be 0 is equal to negative 3x plus 1, right? I'm gonna take my 1 over. So I'm gonna have negative 1 is equal to negative 3x. Divide both sides by negative 3, negative 3. Then I'm gonna get x is 1 over 3. But we want coordinates. So then your y is 0. We have set it over here. So then your y coordinate has to be 0. And your x you just found is 1/3. I hope I didn't lose anyone. Let me do the y-intercept over here. So for your y-intercept, remember I'm still doing A, guys. For your y-intercept, x is 0, okay? So then you're gonna say y is equal to negative 3 times 0 plus 1. Negative 3 times 0 is just 0, and you add 1. Therefore, y is 1. But we want coordinates. Therefore, x is 0, y is 1. Those are your 2 intercepts. Are we good? Did we understand what I just did there now? Are we good? Keegan, where did I lose you? Those who understand, do me a favor and please find the coordinates of D. While I check where I've lost Keegan. Keegan, do you want to raise your hand so we can talk about it? Y is 0 if you want the x-intercept. X is 0 if you want the y-intercept. You see that, Tando? I wrote it here nicely. So until you guys get used to it, I would recommend you write it like this. So if you want the y-intercept, you make x 0. If you want the x-intercept, you make y 0. See? Keegan doesn't want to raise his hand. Come on, Keegan. Has anyone done D yet? Is anyone done with D yet? You're welcome. Has anyone done D? We're gonna finish off with D. Then I'm gonna let you guys go have dinner and relax. Anyone? Okay, in the meantime, I'm gonna write my stuff until you guys. And y-intercept, x is 0. Let's see, Slindile. Slindile's hands up. Yes, Slindile.
Oh, ma'am, I already did mine.
Okay, let's hear.
Okay, I've written like this: 2x plus y
Mm-hmm.
equals to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the next step is 2x plus 0
Mm-hmm.
equals to 10.
Okay.
And it's 2x, another step, equals to 10 minus 0.
Okay, but it's just gonna remain 10. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And I've written 2x over 2. And I've written another 2 is 10 over 2.
Mm-hmm. So your x is
Is equals to 5.
okay. So what are my coordinates? Which one am I writing first, the 5 or the 0?
Ma'am?
In my coordinates, am I writing the 5 or the 0 first?
5.
There we go, Slindile. This is beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful.
you,
Did you
ma'am.
do your y-intercept as well?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Slindile has beautifully done the x-intercept for us. Novoya?
Hello,
Novoya?
ma'am.
There we go.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, I don't understand the whole of number A, ma'am. Can you please re-explain?
Where did I lose you, Novoya?
Ma'am, the whole thing, ma'am, I don't understand.
Okay. Novoya, when you're looking for the x-intercept, you make the y 0, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So wherever there's a y, there's only a y once in this equation. There it is there. So when you see a y, I put a 0. Do you see?
Yes, ma'am.
We're good so far.
Yes, ma'am.
And now I want this x to be alone. So this x over here, I want to be on its own, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So first I get rid of this 1, positive 1. I take it over to the other side. What happens when you take stuff to the other side?
It becomes a -1.
There we go. Do you see where I got this -1?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Beautiful. But now we're not done because we still have a -3 in front of the x. You see?
Yes, ma'am.
So to get rid of the -3, I divide by -3. But what you do on one side, you do on the
Other side.
other side. So then you have -1 divided by -3. But tell me, Novoyo, if you divide a negative with a negative, 2 negatives give you what?
A positive.
There we go. Do you see why my answer is positive?
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. Are you better now?
Yes, ma'am.
There. And then for the y-intercept, you put a 0 where you see the x. So this time your 0 goes over there. Do you see that's what I did over there?
Yes, ma'am.
And then I just solved it. Are you feeling better?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, guys. Time is up. Time is up. Let me write our correction quickly for the y-intercept, and then you guys do the poll while I do that. Okay. I need to minimize this poll. There we go. Quickly do the poll. And then here I make my x 0. So it's going to be 2 times 0 plus y equals 10. That's just 0 plus y equals 10. Therefore, your y is 10. In my coordinates, 0, 10. Beautiful. Everyone who asked for screenshots, we are out of time, unfortunately, but this is being recorded. So just give us like a day or two, and this will be up on the website, and you will be able to pause and screenshot as you want. Okay. Sorry, I went right up to the end of the lesson, which is good though. I think that's good.